Hello, hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cooking show. Today we're doing the 8th recipe from the Blackberry Pie Murder. It is Winnie's Fresh Blackberry Pie, also called Blackbeard Pie. It does give you 3 alternate ways to make the top of this crust. One is just putting a pie crust on top, cutting slits, calling it a day. One is making a lattice work crust, which it says, do it this way, you're on your own. I was going to do that, but my pie crust apparently decided to crack in the freezer, so you'll be lucky if they even get topped at all outside of bits and pieces of bobbles everywhere. The other one is a French crumble, which they do give you a separate section of ingredients for that. Flour, cold butter, and brown sugar. You put that in a food processor, blend it up, and then you put it on top of your pie. With that, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. It has Hannah's first note. Winnie told me to decide which top I wanted to have on my fresh blackberry pie before I started. There are 3 ways to top your pie. And it goes through each one. And then it goes to the ingredients. You're going to want a package of 2 frozen 8-inch deep dish pie crusts, or you can make your own. You're going to want 3 heaping cups whole blackberries crushed in 3 grocery store square boxes, 3/4 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 stick cold salted butter. And then if you're making the crust or the slit, you're just going to take both out of the freezer and use one in its pie pan, loosen the other one. Eventually you'll score it and then line it, or you'll just put it on top. And then it just goes into making the filling and baking the pie. That's all there really is to it. I don't see any other notes. Oh. My grandson calls this Bluebeard pie because he's crazy about pirates. We have 3 names for this pie in this book, I guess. But alright, into that, let's get started. This is everything we need. So we have our blackberries washed and dried in a bowl. In a separate bowl, we're going to mix our dry ingredients together. So that would be sugar. Basically everything else goes in this. Okay. We'll give that a quick toss. Work. Now it says to mix these gently together. It's best to use your fingers and just be really gentle. You don't want to squeeze out any extra juices. So it mentions making sure all of your first flat layer is completely flat. So that is what I'm going to do now. Have a nice flat layer. And just add in all the rest of the berries. And any leftover dry mixture just goes right on top. So it's basically saying that if you use a pre-done pie crust, I understand the logic behind it. It just didn't work. So before you are supposed to put that on, you're supposed to put butter in it. And funnily enough, it even says in the directions, when you cut the slits in the pie, it's a great time to add the butter if you have forgotten it. Not that this pie needs any help in the slits department. This is 100% going to be based off of taste and not looks. There is no helping this. It does say that if you go with the pie crust on top, you can dab it with a little bit of water, milk, or cream, and then sprinkle it with sugar. Give it a crunch every bite, so I'm going to do that right now. And I understand that nothing can help this crust at this point. It is a walking disaster. I get that. But if I can do anything, or even attempt to make it not look like zombie food, dog food, whatever, I'm gonna run with it right now. It says just sprinkle it with a little bit of sugar. This is what's going in the oven. I'm sure it's going to come out delicious. It'll wait for about 50 to 55 minutes. And this is what came out. So it does say to eat it warm or room temp or cold. It says it's good either way. It's really good with ice cream or Cool Whip. So I'm going to try a little bit of berry and crust first. They look so good. That is delicious. Not sweet. It's definitely tart. Those spices, the nutmeg and the cinnamon, are such a good complement. And blackberry is such a summer thing. I've never seen anything blackberry in the winter. This is definitely a 10 out of 10. Even the crust being messed up still worked just fine. Next week, we are going to be making the fresh blackberry cookies. If you are excited to see them, if you just like blackberries, check in next week. I hope you all have a good one. Bye, guys.